Pisces, love and light to y'all here. Welcome, 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 Pisces. We're here for you. We're here for you in your December 2019 reading. Are you ready, Pisces? Oh, Pisces. Tell me. Maybe let's be really honest. Just, you and me. I'm not gonna tell anyone, okay? Just tell me. Are you ready? This is going to require some patience. I'm hearing it in that way, Pisces, for you. I'm hearing it in that way for you, Pisces. There, first of all, is someone seriously, I'm hearing seriously lurking, I'm hearing in the background of this film that is called Your Life. Okay. Somebody here, it's funny because I was meditating your energy, Pisces, and I'm hearing Scorpio right here off the bat. I'm getting that there's someone who is, like, super, super interested in you. I'm seeing it in that way, like, they're almost, like, I'm hearing they go and try to find you in the lost and found. I'm hearing, like, every afternoon. What is that? The Hermit in reverse? Ten of Swords in reverse, Three of Pentacles upright. Like, somebody feels like they're trying to almost, they're in a process of, like, recovering. I'm hearing recovery with the Hermit in reverse, Ten of Swords in reverse, from some kind of, past. Devil in reverse. Yeah, I'm hearing the Hermit. Somebody's, like, in actually a space of regeneration here and healing. Even detoxification. But it's, like, what I'm seeing is that I'm hearing, again, Scorpio, yeah, strong here with the Chair in reverse. But they're, like, But they're still hanging around. Like, I don't know what that's about. Like, they're trying to remove themselves from this space, but at the same time, they're not leaving it. Okay, so somebody, doesn't want to let go, Pisces. I'm seeing, like, specifically, like, somebody doesn't want to let you go with the Moon in reverse as well. The Nine of Swords in reverse and the Daughter of Swords. Somebody realizes, somebody has, like, this epiphany even. They're like, I'm hearing, I can't go home without her. I'm hearing, not going home without you. Is that by Maroon 5? Somebody's like, oh my goodness, excuse me, Pisces, the Sun upright, the Fool upright, the Nine of Pentacles upright. It's like, somebody's like, it's funny, because it's like, I'm talking about passion, and yet I am yawning. So for a number of you, there's something of this feeling of like, oh, somebody is super attracted to some kind, or they have a vision of some space, but they don't want to even, like, psych themselves out about it. Yeah, big time. For a number of you, you're dealing with somebody here who also isn't, they have mood swings, big time. They're like, hot, cold, okay. The Moon mirroring the Sun. It's like, talk about a cycle, right? Okay. This, I'm hearing, started when they were 9 years old. I'm hearing that specifically. For number, you just dealing with someone also who's got a lot of Scorpio. They've got Pluto, I'm hearing, in their mouth. I'm not sure what that's alluding to. I'm hearing in their moon, perhaps even in their third house, even though they got Mercury conjunct Pluto, or Mercury in Scorpio. Mercury in the 8th as well. Gemini, cusp in the 8th house. I'm hearing that as well for a number of you. Yeah, I'm hearing motivation with the Magician in reverse. Somebody feels like they're somehow, okay, like, it's like every step they take in one direction, they have to counteract it. Like, they feel like they also, perhaps for a number, like, they don't want to make something too obvious. Like, if they are interested in someone, they might feel even, like, paranoid. They're like, oh my goodness, everything that I say, like, they hear, like, as announced on the PA speaker. Like, I don't know what that's alluding to, but somebody feels like even their voice is, like, very, very loud. I'm hearing that with the Fool and the Seven of Cups. Like, somebody feels like they're in some way obvious to someone. Like, and specifically their voice, something about their voice. Like, they're like, when I talk to this person, I feel like I also, like, talk too much. I'm hearing that, specifically. Okay. Now, for a number of you that, like, there is this, somebody feels like when I talk to them, it's like, I feel like I just talk for too long. and then I feel like I gotta just cut it off. Like, all of a sudden, just need to, like, cut the conversation out of the conversation altogether. I just need to ghost them. I'm hearing, oh, okay. So, what's that about? For a number of you, you're dealing perhaps with somebody who feels a lot of emotion, period. And it's like they feel so much emotion that it's like overwhelming even to them. But to say in this way, that they feel so much that they feel also like, wow, it's so obvious to this other person. So let me downplay it. And so just as high as they jump, it's just as low as they go. So for a number of you, it's like the level of interest that they do show you, in some way they compensate, okay, by showing you like the inverse of that. I show you so much, and then I show you absolutely nothing, okay, at all. I show you that you are the whole meaning of my life, and then I move out of the city altogether. And what the fuck is that about? I'm hearing Washington State. I'm hearing, I'm hearing Waikiki, Maui as well. I'm hearing Waikiki, Maui. Waikiki? Waikiki, isn't that on the mainland? Hawaii, the Magician in Reverse. Like, somebody has actually moved, or they've stopped talking to someone, like, completely. They're like, I'm hearing she's being bratty. I'm hearing she's being natty. I'm hearing as well, the Magician in Reverse. Like, somebody feels like, oh, this is their routine. Like, they just go without talking to anyone for, like, 4 to 3 months. I'm hearing that specifically. Magician in Reverse, 3 of Swords in Reverse, 2 of Wands in the middle. Like, we don't know what to do about that. I'm hearing that specifically. It's like, no, they feel like nobody can find this person as well at certain times, especially if they've got a lot of Jupiter in the chart and or Leo. I'm hearing that specifically. They could also have Leo related to Jupiter. In some way, Leo cusping the 9th house. This would most likely mean that they are a Scorpio rising, and that their midhaven might be Leo. Now you have the Ace of Wands. I'm seeing somebody with like tattoos specifically on the left wrist. Okay. Ace of Wands in reverse, the Sun of Wands upright. What? Pisces? What's with the yawning during the most supposedly intensely passionate moment here? Would you see that orb? My. The Sun of Wands upright. It's like there's something of this feeling of like right when somebody feels... The Sun of Wands is all about passion and energy, vitality. See that orb again. I'm hearing Theo. I'm hearing theology professor. I'm hearing as well Sun of Wands. Okay, somebody's getting psyched out. Their physical body is actually in some way, as they feel it, like overtaken by their thoughts. The paradigm of how they perceive of what they feel also physically. For a number of you, somebody's like, I don't want my libido to get out of control. I'm hearing out of hand. I gotta make sure that, I'm not thinking about that all the time. I'm hearing also masturbating. I'm hearing that with the 3 of Wands, like masturbation. I'm hearing specifically with the Sun of Wands, 3 of Wands, and the Ace of Wands in reverse. Like somebody's like, I need to somehow distract myself from this space. Okay, I'm hearing it's actually, I'm hearing it's creating its own entity. I'm not sure what that's a Luna 8 of Cups in reverse. Okay, I'm hearing melodrama here with the 8 of Cups. Somebody feels perhaps it like, just again, like just as excited as they get, or just when they get super excited, then they in some way feel like I need to somehow pack that excitement into a space that I hold. I'm hearing for another time. What's that about? Somebody maybe has some sort of even, it's like a social anxiety perhaps for a number of you. Father of Pentacles upright, somewhat of a social anxiety, where they feel like I am on the stage, but I am somehow to stay away from it at the same time. I don't know what the Sun of Wands is like. Okay, you're up to bat. Okay, well, my bat is behind my back right now, and I'm gonna just kind of like walk backwards with it, so you don't see it in my hand. I'm hearing that specifically. Somebody maybe doesn't want to feel that, oh man, that there is a certain also expectation of them. Interesting. So for now, it's a little bit of performance anxiety thing, perhaps, with the Sun of Wands upright, Ace of Wands in reverse. For a number of you, it has to do with the physical body and libido. Somebody's like, man, I feel like I'm like at a loss for words. I'm hearing when it comes to the point of actually taking the action. Okay, like I'm even seeing somebody like, I'm hearing they're on this like hunt. They're on this hunt, this chase. Like they're spending all this time trying to also get thinking straight about something here with the devil in reverse and the 3 Wands. Like somebody's like, I need to get my act together. I'm hearing that as well with the devil in reverse. 3 Wands. Like somebody feels like they're like, they feel random in a certain space. They might feel like, I don't know, like, what my role is really, guys. I'm hearing that specifically with with the Devil in reverse and the Three of Wands upright. And so there could almost be this sort of feeling of like, they're in this thinking space of how do I sort of, and it could be like somebody actually took a period of time off or away to be able to kind of work with managing their attraction. And really it is like that for a number of you. Someone is just way too freaking attracted, and it is to the point the tower literally just fell out of the stack with the Ace of Wands on my lap. It's like, this is trembling, like literally this person, like they feel like they are about to have a boner. I'm hearing in the middle of their I'm hearing of their class. I'm hearing just thinking about this space, what's that about? And I'm saying like all of a sudden they're like, I need a tissue, and they like get up and they like goes, I don't know what that's leading to. Anyways, okay, so for a number, it's like, I'm hearing ding dong with the Devil and the Three of Wands. Like, for a number of you, someone is actually, they fear a certain space. It has to do perhaps with religion. They're like, is this taboo? Is this okay to even talk about? I'm hearing that for a number of you. Feeling pressure in the throat. For a number of you, and the back. I'm seeing specifically on the right side of the back. For a number of you, it's like, someone's like, is this like proper? Okay. Now here comes the Fool. I'm hearing mediumship. Now, for a number of you, there's something that somebody, again, they like took a period of time off to like better understand even. Like, they're like, is this something that I need to be thinking about? I'm feeling pressure in the heart. Like, somebody feels a super strong connection. But the question is, what does my thing have to do with it? I'm hearing specifically as well. Like, they're questioning. Oh, they're like, what does the space of the physical body have to do with the space of feeling that I feel? And so it's not to say that it's either or, that they feel like, oh, I either have this or I either have that, but it's a matter of balance. Okay, so for a number of someone, again, they feel so much emotion, and then they're like, how do I scale this with the physical body? How do I act on behalf of those emotions? And because in some way, perhaps the level of emotion that they feel somehow makes them feel that they have to compensate for it with a physical sort of show. And so that makes them feel like, holy moly, how do I acknowledge what I'm feeling emotionally in a physical way when I feel so freaking much? So for a number of you, it's like this person, their physical body actually, they feel overwhelmed. Okay, they're like, and it, you know, it could be in the matter of like presenting themselves in some way. They're like, when it comes to presenting myself, I feel like I'm hearing like a wrecking ball. Like, somebody feels like their emotions also, they overwhelm them. I'm hearing they get the best of them here with the Eight of Cups upright. I'm hearing Mandy. I'm hearing Mary. The Magician is in reverse. The Eight of Cups upright. Like, somebody gets hysterical. They're like, oh my goodness. I'm hearing she's thinner. I'm hearing than me as well. I'm not sure what that's alluding to. I'm hearing, oh, she's gonna think that I'm like thin. I'm hearing thinning. I'm not sure what that's alluding to. The Fool, the Father of Pentacles, the Five of Cups. Like, someone's like kind of concerned for their own image here. Like, what is that about? Like, it's really weird because, well, let's backtrack as well. For a number of you, perhaps somebody feels like, if I were to present this in a hypothetical case, how would I actually hold myself in it physically? Okay. So for a number of you, this is for a number of you, someone is thinking about the thoughts. Wow, here comes a Chariot. I'm hearing, on one hand, the future, but the thoughts that will be had in a social space as well. Like, the thoughts that would circumvent the space of this passion. Now, somebody's real, let's just say it like this, somebody's real attracted to something, someone, but they're real hesitant about addressing it. But here comes the Hierophant upright, mirroring the Two of Cups in reverse. The Mother of Wands is in between the Hierophant and the Two of Cups. She's mirroring the Son of Swords. Son of Swords upright, Mother of Wands upright, Mother of Pentacles at the base of the Son of Swords. She's upright as well. And the Chariot is sitting right over the Three of Wands. Here comes the Daughter of Cups with the Daughter of Wands right over the Hierophant. Come on now. Okay, we've got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 characters here. All right, this is like the kind of connection that we don't just call our brothers up for. I'm hearing to talk about, this is the one we call our mother up for. I'm hearing specifically, I'm hearing to make her aware of. Here comes the Ten of Pentacles. For a number of you, somebody's like, I'm hearing time out. I'm hearing time out. They actually, for a number of you, somebody feels that they have had some sort of change to their body, like after they met someone. Yeah, here comes the Father of Wands in reverse. So someone's like, I don't recognize myself anymore. I'm hearing that specifically. They feel like they've actually physically changed. Like they had some sort of even shift. I'm hearing upgrade of DNA after they met someone. And this has left them breathless. I'm hearing that specifically. Here comes the Judgment card with the Ace of Swords. But it's funny because, you know, it's not just like, I don't know what to say. It's more so, I know what I feel. It's just a matter of how do I say it. Okay, so it's not what to say. It's how to say what I know I want to say of what I know I feel. I'm hearing as well. Okay, now here comes the Seven of Swords over the Son of Pentacles and the Eight of Wands in reverse. It's a matter of honesty, getting really honest about what we are thinking. Six of Swords in reverse. This could be on a subconscious level with yourself, or how, you know, somebody holds what they think in a space that is in I'm hearing in a communicated context. Okay, so it's like, how do I take what I am thinking and how do I communicate that? So for a number of you, it's like an idea that you have that you want to throw out there, quote unquote. It's something you're interested in, let's just say like that, Pisces, okay? Or something that somebody is interested in. For a number of you, it could be a move, a new business as well, whatever it is. You know, the point is, you know, presenting it, and it's the point at which it becomes sort of open and public that perhaps somebody fears. Now here comes the Five of Pentacles. Again, it was interesting. I wanted to say this before. Here comes the Father of Pentacles, right? With the Fool and the Five of Cups. Now take a look at these three cards, dear Pisces. And if you look at, right, the Father of Pentacles, you know, you see him kind of looking over at the Fool, but specifically looking over at what? The Five of Cups. Now, if you look at the Five of Cups, it precedes this Fool, which is the Zenith card of the Major Arcana, the very beginning of it all, right? Now, it's interesting to see that the Fool is looking at the Five of Cups, specifically the horse on the Five of Cups, who's looking down. So in a way, it's like the person leading this sort of trail out, which is supposed to be revolutionary and all kind of all-encompassing, I'm hearing, of faith and truth and vision, is the sore. I'm hearing the sore thumb. I'm hearing specifically the Five of Pentacles. I'm not sure what that's alluding to. For a number of you, it's like, what does the thumb resemble? For a number of you, it's like someone may feel that they are kind of like thrown out of the party space. I'm not sure what I'm hearing. Like somebody feels like they were thrown off of the party bus, but not actually. This is more a perception. The Father of Pentacles mirroring the Five of Cups. They're both interestingly horses, right? Or, well, this is like an elk or a mule, and the Five of Cups is depicted as a horse. And so it's almost like, you know, the Father of Pentacles actually, it's interesting again, because the Father of Pentacles is the most, quote-unquote, advanced character in the Pentacles suit, right? The Father of Pentacles. And the Five of Cups is kind of depicting this sad, somber sort of storyline here, right? I'm hearing Shrek, who is relentless in his quest to lose weight. I'm hearing as well here with the Five of Cups. Like, somebody feels like they're not up to par in some way, which is so ironic because they're actually really thick-skinned. Very specifically. Like, it's really odd. I'm seeing somebody's like, on one hand, they feel like they think the world of themselves as well. But on the other hand, they're like, but I am like, I'm still thinking of myself kind of like at a loss. I'm hearing for a number of you for words. For another of you, it's like somebody feels like they are somehow like a loser. Hopefully not. Okay, but the Five of Cups, it's like what is a loser? Like perhaps somebody feels like my chances, my odds at kind of also reviving this space are slim. I'm hearing that specifically, like, and it's really weird. I'm hearing the Fountain of Youth here with the Fool and the Five. Like somebody feels like they're also alone. I said alone in their space of attraction. Like somebody is really questioning, is what I'm feeling like just me with myself here. Like, is this attraction that I'm feeling like just my own memento to myself, like my own little message that I'm pinging and ponging back to myself, back and forth? I'm hearing that with the Five of Cups and the Father of Pentacles, like, especially if you're dealing with someone who's got a lot of Aquarius in the chart. I'm hearing Uranus in the 5th and also in the 8th. There's something about the sacral chakra. I'm hearing something that even happened in childhood that might be triggering the way that somebody is in interpreting their own, I'm hearing their own vest that they wear. I'm not sure what that's alluding to, but a vest can speak of protection, right, in a certain way. Now, Father of Pentacles here mirroring the Five of Cups. Again, for a number of you, it's interesting because the Fool speaks of embarking upon new journeys, new travels, new change. Okay, there's no sense of fear with the Fool, right? And it is just that. It is the Fool, and yet it is the first card in the major arcana. In other words, to start the new beginning, we must be willing to follow simply the vision of it. To start anything, we must fall out of the space that we call, in a certain way, the throne of understanding or experience or expectation of also learned behaviors and patterns with the Father of Pentacles. So in other words, it's like somebody is actually demasking in a certain way their own mission, which perhaps in some way makes them feel confused at the same time. They're like, well, I realize that in a certain way I can't have this, like, you know, also this ego identity when I'm moving into this new beginning. But then it's like, it makes me question, well, what then is my content? I'm hearing that as well. Like, somebody feels like they're questioning, for a number of you perhaps, how do I present myself in this space? And they're like, on one hand, I don't want to perhaps come off as too, for a number of you, it could be in the way of, well, I don't want it to come off like, okay, somebody wants to balance their ego with also their passion. So they're like, I want to be, you know, an entrepreneur. I'm hearing that as well for a number of you with the Father of Pentacles and the Fool. I was like, I want to move into this space in an endearing way. I'm hearing that as well. So how do I do that also in a way that is conscious of those who are going to be receptive to my advances? Okay, so somebody doesn't want to like push someone also, like they don't want to define like a space because of the way that they move into it, all right? I'm hearing that specifically with the Father of Pentacles upright and the Fool upright. For a number of you, definitely dealing with an Aquarius as well, who loves to change their clothes very often. I'm hearing that specifically with the Fool upright. And the Magician in reverse, like they're almost like they spend like hours in the mirror. They're like, does this t-shirt match the way it holds my back? I'm hearing that specifically. What? Like somebody like they stand in the mirror and they like analyze the way their shirt like falls on their back for like hours though. I'm hearing specifically here with a Fool and the Wheel of Fortune reverse. Somebody though also feels like I am the Fool, but then at the same time I'm like thinking about how I'm predicting my fall. I'm hearing specifically, okay, and there goes the Fool actually dropping over the Father of Pentacles. So it's like, and I'm almost saying the Fool as like a child of the Father of Pentacles, like the child that charges out ahead, and then all of a sudden they see, you know, the stage, and then they run back, and they, like, jump into their parents', I'm hearing jeans, and they, like, hold on, I'm seeing something like a kid, like, holding on to their parents' jeans, I don't know what that's saying too, like, as the parent is standing there. And so for a number of you, it's kind of like, maybe, yeah, it's a little bit, maybe somebody is a little shy, but it's more so a matter of, I'm seeing this on a personal level with themselves, like, how is it that I, like, kind of move into this beginning without predicting it, but then how do I also pursue it with passion, like, with vision and direction? And so for a number of you, it's like, though, somebody feels like, on one hand, they have this really strong level of confidence, but then they're kind of, like, concerned for what that is shown out as. In the space in which they feel they are to let go of expectation. Interesting. So somebody's like, okay, I'm hearing, how do I start this? And it could be really just, it could be a matter of the beginning, like, what is the beginning of it all? Now you have the Tower with the Ace of Wands, dear Pisces. There's a lot of pressure to begin here, okay? And maybe this is the energy of someone, they feel like it is perhaps even like a cultural influence. Like they feel like uncomfortable in some way. They're like, what do I present? And again, it's ironic because on one hand, they've got this sense and state of stability that is unmatched. I'm hearing specifically, like they have this presence as well to them that is, it demands, I'm hearing specifically, attention. I'm hearing it in that way. And, you know, there is perhaps even an authority in some way, a space of authority in a certain industry as well, where somebody is highly respected. But then again, it's like interesting because then they move into the space of the Fool, which is all about releasing all of the sort of standards as well, all of, you know, what kind of distinguishes us as accomplished, and you know, it compels us to move and start on the basis of nothing. I'm hearing zero, starting from the very beginning. And who's to say that, you know, zero is nothing at all? What is nothing in comparison to, you know, what would be considered everything? So always take as well. It's always a matter, right, of perception. But you have the Son of Wands leading you out with the Fool. So for a number of you, they have a fear of falling out. Okay. They have this fear of, like, also the public, like, scrutiny. Like, they're like, how do others see me? Like, again, on one hand, when they see themselves in a certain space, they're like, yeah, for sure. I'm hearing, I get it. I'm confident. I feel it. I see it. I want it. But then it's like, then when they get to that space of, like, considering how others would interpret it, that's it. I'm hearing the game needs a little more. I'm hearing chewing gum now. I don't know what that's looking like. Chewing gum usually is used for the sake of passing time, or when you're bored, or when you need something to kind of, like, you know, distract yourself with, you know, chewing gum. So you got the Son of Swords here with the Hierophant. Somebody's like, they are like almost buying time. I'm hearing it as well in that way. The Father of Pentacles in reverse, yeah, and it's almost like somebody has actually, like, they actually either put a space on hold or walked away from it in some way altogether. They're like, I'm not presenting myself yet. I'm hearing yet, specifically with the Son of Swords, the Father of Pentacles, and the Hierophant. And it's funny because I just looked at my wrist as if I were wearing a watch. I'm not. Okay. What is a watch? Right, I would take as you will, but for a number of you, there's something of a question of timing. And so somebody maybe is like, again, I said to buy time, and they look at their watch, which is not even on their hand. So it's like, what is that? Is it like a subconscious encouragement? Oh, like time will tell. In time, it will all be clear what the next steps will be that you should take. 10 of Pentacles are bright, Ace of Pentacles are bright. But what is time within the spectrum of passion, really, right? Like, what really moves us into the next step and stage? Is it time? Is it because it's Tuesday at 2:00 that tells us, hey, it's time? Or is it, you know, the passion that we feel that completely disintegrates the observation of that space of time itself? So someone perhaps feels that they are somehow operating within the spectrum of time and even expectation, and what they have already experienced through time, the quote-unquote past, and what they are at a certain point, a threshold of completely rethinking altogether. Wow. For a number of you, it's like you're actually shifting paradigms. You're actually throwing yourself into a space that you feel you don't actually kind of like recognize. Okay, it's like, yeah, I don't really know myself in this space. Yeah, that's kind of the point. I'm hearing that specifically. Like, this is a new way of thinking about your future. I'm hearing as well the Full mirroring the Ace of Pentacles. It's meant to make you feel like a baby who's just kind of like squeezed its way out of the womb. Like, wow, aren't those lights bright? Okay. Isn't that kind of an uncomfortable process somewhat? Absolutely. But doesn't it lend itself to a whole new world in a certain way? For sure. Now, it's not to say that it's, you know, something that we feel is not to eventually be made stable. It's not like, oh, I should always feel like I'm just hanging off of the edge of the cliff. That's the way I know that I'm thinking of, you know, my future in the right way, in the way that is not going to be determined by my past. You know, there is this eventual space of integration, if we can call it that. Like, eventually I will find the point of synthesis, right, within this space, right, eventually the baby does stop crying, okay, once it is born, you know, it does follow a certain cycle of also interpreting the space of evolution, the space in which there are changes and transformations and release and rehabilitation, I'm hearing as well, with that space of change. But at the end of the day, you know, it's not about judging the door, okay, by way of what we discover as we move through it. Interesting. So it's like, to say in the way, even if the first few steps and stages of this new beginning, even in terms of perception, when we just think of this new beginning, even if it makes us feel somehow queasy or uncomfortable, it doesn't define, right, the rest of the experience. It's not like the baby, like, right out of the womb is like, this is going to be a horrible, horrible experience forever, my whole life. You know, no, it's that one moment, right, of kind of awakening. I'm hearing it in that way as well. That is also to make clear what we want to make of this space. So, in other words, you know, through this process of transition, transformation, we come to identify what we actually find as valuable in that space of evolution. Wow. So for a number of you, it's like, I realize it's all a matter of what I define as meaningful in this process of, I'm hearing, awakening, of change for a number of you as well. So for a number of you, you realize, again, it's all a matter of your perspective, okay? And, you know, when we are in that period, you know, in a certain way, change and transformation is really helpful, right? Kind of feeling unsettled in certain ways is helpful because it pushes us to that state to make decisions, right? To take the executive decisions on, to take actions that are honest and authentic and true. When we're sort of trembling, right? When we feel the quake beneath us, that's when we are stimulated to rise, to get up, and to actually make a jump, right? And when we are at that point of moving on from what we've known, that's when we are meeting face to face, when we are facing our future as what we wish to see it out as, playing, I'm hearing, itself through. Wow, I'm hearing the experience of, I'm hearing love for, wow, I'm hearing the journey. I'm hearing love for the journey itself. Son of Wands leading out. So yeah, there is a shakeup here. Perhaps for a number of you, the Eight of Wands in reverse and a Wands upright. Perhaps there are things that make you feel like, oh gosh, like just thinking about doing this makes me feel like I'm hearing, I'm Thumbelina. I'm hearing playing in the wrong play. I'm hearing specifically, I'm not sure what that is alluding to, but I'm hearing specifically as well, playing it as Shrek. Like I'm seeing like one character like Thumbelina. She's like, I feel like I got thrown into the costume as Shrek and I feel really awkward right now. I'm hearing that specifically. Like, I don't know what that's alluding to. Like somebody feels like they're also like, they don't know what this world will be like in some way. I mean, even, again, if you think about Thumbelina, who was that? That's just like a little fairy character. Like, imagine, like, I'm seeing her, like, thrown into a costume that's, like, way too big. I'm hearing shark. Okay, for a number of you, this could actually be, I'm hearing Shark Tank. This is related to finances. Like, somebody feels like, I'm hearing, because it's a wild, wild world out there. Like, somebody feels like, oh my goodness, it's so competitive. I'm hearing for a number of you. For a number of you, it's like, whoa. It's so, I'm hearing, I feel inexperienced. I'm hearing that from, like, you're like, I don't know what to expect. Hold on. Oh, I'm hearing from you're experimenting with something. Daughter of Cups in reverse, Ace of Pentacles upright. Hold on. Maybe even you visited some space and you're like, everything feels really, really different for you. In some way, like very foreign. What is foreign? Always take as you will. I'm here, oh, college campus. Okay. 1 second though. It's a new industry I'm hearing as well that perhaps you're leading out. And it's the space of leading out, a space that you're not really all too familiar with, that makes you perhaps feel somewhat like kind of indirectly involved in it, which then makes you feel like, what am I doing here? But then you know that you're supposed to be there. I'm hearing that specifically for a number of you. And I'm looking here at the daughter. Oh, I thought that was the Son of Cups. It's the Justice card. Yeah, so for a number of you, it's like maybe even something that you have been involved in, and you're like, what am I doing here? But then you're like, I know that I'm not supposed to be thinking of it like that. I know that this is a learning process as well. It's an experience that I am to discover the answers to over time. What are the answers? What makes us feel that we have understood something, right? Indefinitely or definitely. So for a number of you, it's like there's just something that you feel it's not a process that you can really even define yourself absolutely in. It's not like, hi, this is my character and I now understand, my whole role here. Okay, sometimes it's like we don't know the first chapter even of the book. I'm hearing in relation to the last. Sometimes it's a matter of the writing process that then leads us to better understand what even the caption of the image really means to begin with. Like what something is actually presented out as. Okay, just to say it this way for a number of you Pisces, like maybe for a number of you actually committed to a certain space, or you made a certain claim, or you made a certain also, I'm hearing like decision in some way, or you had a conversation with someone about something and you're like, all right, I think that this is going to be the next move. But then you're like perhaps thinking, Pisces, I'm hearing Aquarius, like there's something awkward about the way that, or this could be the energy of another, what someone else is feeling. There's something awkward perhaps about the way that you feel you are stating yourself in that space. Like I'm even seeing somebody like stepping up to a podium. They're like, hello, I'm a grad school student. I've worked in the Department of Agriculture. I'm hearing undergraduate affairs for over 9 years. I'm hearing 19. I'm over it. I'm hearing specifically, and I'm ready to move into this next industry. So I'm hearing position as well, title. So for a number of you, it's like somebody maybe feels at that point of like also having no explanation, but then they have like every reason to move into this space. Interesting. It's like, I don't know what, but I know. I just know. Okay. And people are like, wow, that's interesting. You're like, yep. I'm seeing you even like walking through a space, like even like even at an event, like a party or something, like even with family, and you're like saying something that is somehow, that it can be perceived as somewhat even ironic, okay, like illogical. You're like, again, it's like, I don't know what, but I just know. And it's like you're like nodding and you're like, that it's an awkward statement. I'm hearing that as well, like in terms of how it can be perceived, perhaps, okay. And I'm hearing as well, perceptively perceived. Okay, I'll always take it as you will. And so it's like, perception is a two-way road. I'm hearing that specifically. Okay. And so it's like, it's funny, Pisces, because I'm seeing like people looking at you and they're like, and exactly what they feel is awkward about it. They're like, what? What do you mean? Like, and you're like, yeah. And you just like smile and you change lanes. I'm hearing as well, like as you're acknowledging their discomfort. I'm hearing their questions. You're like nodding with them. You're like, yep, it is that confusing. I'm hearing specifically, yes, it is what you think it is. It is not making sense. I'm hearing perhaps in a sensical spectrum. I'm hearing of expectation of what you expect to hear. Also the answer to be like, you expect me to give you some logical answer as to why I feel that I should work here, but yep, I'm hearing, I'm not gonna convince you with marbles that make their way, up the hill instead of down. I'm hearing specifically, and vice versa. So I'm not sure what that's alluding to, but doesn't that relate to the law of gravity, right? Like if you have marbles on a mountain, when do marbles like hike up the mountain? If anything, they would be rolling down them, right? Okay, but for a number of you, it's like you feel like you're somehow presenting something that to a certain number of people is kind of negating certain realities in certain ways. Like people are like, what? What do you mean you're removing your relationship to also that context? I'm hearing, or that industry in some way. Like somebody feels like, it's interesting. I'm even seeing somebody's like, I'm not associated with that space anymore. And people are like, wait. And I'm saying like, it's funny because I'm seeing Pisces, you're even like you're like actually moving. You're even like, I don't know, you're even on a train or something, but you're like you're talking to people as you're moving. And so you're talking about how you're moving and people are watching you move. So it's like before, and I'm seeing you even at a party and you're like, you've got this like cup in your hand and you're like walking around, but you're talking to someone as you're moving on. I'm hearing that specifically as well. And you're like presenting something and you see their reaction, but there's no real like quote unquote time and space that has been set aside specifically to address what that quote unquote awkwardness is. Okay, if you see what I'm saying, Pisces, it's like there's something of the space of, again, like even again, irony that has no explanation to it. So you're kind of just, you're kind of like, just kind of, you're quote unquote, I'm hearing throwing it out there as an idea and then kind of indirectly addressing it, I'm hearing, and then in whatever way that may be meant for you, what is indirect and what is direct, and not necessarily that it is in a good or bad way, right, or a neutral way, but you know, just to say that perhaps in a certain way, Pisces, it's like you might feel that you have no timeline as well here. I'm not sure what that is alluding to. You're like people are like, maybe they're, oh yes, like maybe certain people in that space expect you to give them like even a hard, definite, I'm hearing yes or no answer. And it's like, I know, I'm seeing you looking at someone, you're like, look, I know it's going to be really hard to believe, but my answer is that I don't know. And then it's like, I'm seeing again, like you're in this train and you're moving and they're like, what? And you're like, and you're looking through the window and you're like nodding. You're like, yeah. And you're like moving on. I don't know what that's alluding to. You're like moving, Pisces. Now, I literally just took my braid out as well. And I'm hearing it has to do with what you're talking about, what you'll be talking about. Okay. So for a number of you, there's something that you feel also has potential. And you realize, yes, for a number of you, that sacrificing the space of explaining it actually saves the room for creating it. And so to say it in this way, I know it's a bit abstract perhaps for a number of you Pisces. I'm seeing 4-1 here, 41. For a number of you, it's like the sheer process of expressing what you know kind of it kind of leaves the room to resist that presentation that is honest. Okay, wow. And did you see that orb? Oh my, that was interesting. It was like a circle. Okay. All right. So for a number of you, perhaps there's something that you've also, it's like you've been thinking, it's like, how do I present this? And then perhaps it gets to the point where you realize there's no point in presenting it. I just need to position it. And it will be at that point feeling pressure in the third eye. For a number of you, it's like a matter of meditation. And you realize that you are kind of, you are kind of removing the third dimension. I'm hearing also of the conversation. I'm hearing the third dimensional context to what it is that you see your vision out as evolving through. Let's jump into the extended reading, Love and Light to you, Pisces, and you can access that reading via the link in the bio box below. Have a beautiful December, and I'll see you there. Bye.